video is so not about R3.
Alright, konnichiwa YouTubers, it is Heartbroken Biker. Today we're going to talk about the R15 V4. I just woke up and I saw this and I was super excited. I am 12 hours behind you guys. This video is for my Indian audience. You guys have already seen the launch. I just saw it and I was super excited and we should talk about it. We are not going to talk about the specs and other usual things that you see. You see the launch video, you see hundreds of video. If it's the same, what's the point, right? So we're going to talk about other stuff that is important and why these features are important, maybe why you should buy this bike. Alright, before we go into that, for the new folks who are here, I'm Heartbroken Biker. I travel on my motorcycles. I'm currently in North America. I have two channels. This is the main channel which I started about 10 years ago. So this has motorcycles and travel, and my other channel is my life channel, which I'll link somewhere. You can go and check it out, and please do consider subscribing. Also, a point to note that I don't really go out and make videos of every bike that gets launched. I have a very specific focus, the small bike segment. And what is the last small bike segment I was excited about? That's the Hero Xpulse 200, which I said is a banging bike for India when it launched. I did say that, and the proof is in front of you, I guess. People who have bought the Xpulse are actually enjoying it a lot. Now, the R15 V4. Let me just look at the video again and give you a flowing thought as we go. So the first thing I have to say, those leaked pics that were out, and I did post on my Instagram, that angle was probably the worst. This R15 M actually looks good. It is slowly growing on me. Now, some of you guys know from my Instagram that I've not been a very big fan of the whole R series redesign that they've done, starting from the R1 and then R6 and then the R7 and then even this. I specifically looked out and scouted and bought for the old model despite the new R3 was available in USA. I'm a fan of the twin setup, but I have to say that the design is kind of growing on me as I see more, and when you actually shoot the bike in proper angles, it actually looks good. Okay, now let's jump right into the features. They have this new console which looks rad, I would say. It has been a long overdue for a good console. It looks good, and the app connectivity and all that stuff is there, which I really personally do not. Did I hit the mic? I really personally do not care about getting the apps. I want to focus on the ride, but it's nice to have a indication on your dashboard where if you missed a call or something, which pretty much often happens with us. She calls me and I can't pick it up because my phone is either in the map mode or I have it in my backpack. But apart from that, other features like looking at mileage and service intervals, I'm so old school. I mean, I'm not super old school, but I'm kind of like halfway old school and halfway new. So I just keep a usual log of that. I don't really care about the mileage. I would know if the mileage of the bikes are going low. I can feel the performance. I can feel different things like sounds, smell of the fuel. You can know whether the bike is running rich or lean. You gotta inspect a few things, but I understand for folks who are just getting into it. But mostly the app is kind of gimmicky, I would say. Now the projector headlight in the center, is that a projector? Second thing I noticed is the lightweight, 142 kgs it says. Now, did I forget to mention that I had an R15? Now you see an R3 here after we moved to USA. But I stuck to my R15 for a pretty long time. Even now I'm sticking to small bikes. Small bike for USA. Next year my R15 will be about 10 years old. And it is a spanking awesome bike, and it's about 137 kgs. This is 143, so there's been a 5 kg. Of course, they had to do a lot of things with the emission norms. They had to put a USD fork. Delta Brock's frame has remained the same, or they made a little bit of modifications on the subframe. The exhaust was a little bit of pain to see, but it's decent. The 140 radial tire I don't really care about that much. V2 had a 130 section rear, which was all right, and V1 had even thinner tires. It's not something like, oh my god, 140. I'm still waiting for my oh my god features. Now this is the frame which actually makes good sense. That rider is at least 5'7" maybe. They're able to properly, almost nicely tuck behind, which I cannot so much do with a 5'3" height, so much do in here. Maybe that's where the new redesign helps. And also on my V2, I know the wind blast. I mean, it's not so much, but you can still feel it. But going forward at this frame, this is pretty important if you want to take it to tracks, if you want to actually feel the race bike ergonomics. I'm hoping they have left some slots at the foot pegs to do some foot peg mods, maybe shift the position up a little bit. The riding position becomes a little more aggressive for the track. The rest of it, except for the fact that exhaust design doesn't flow with the tail. The rest of the side actually looks good. The R15M, when placed beside the R15 Blue, literally outshines. Now this is a frame which you should notice that they have a lap timer and they also have battery health, and also it feels like they have riding modes, which I feel they don't make a big difference on smaller cc bikes, on less powerful and entry level bikes like this, not even on the R3. But this is what I'm more excited about. So USD forks in V3 in Indonesia, and it did not come. I rode that V3 in Indonesia, and when it came to India, and I was super disappointed. And also USD forks have finally made their way to India. That is going to make a lot of difference for you, especially upgrading from, let's say, a V2, or if you're just getting into your first sport bike, you're getting a top-notch equipment. That's also where most of the money has gone. The price increase is all because of the USD forks. And now this has superly surprised me, the traction control system. They have a traction control system on a 150cc making what, 18 bhp. I'm going to tell you, I have never felt the need of traction control system even on this. Surely there is a range of bikes in which you need traction control, where the power is so much that it can spin the wheel. You lose a little bit of traction on the ground, it could actually cause a lot of spin on the rear wheel, and which will be mismatched from the front. But on a smaller cc bikes in normal conditions, you won't need it. Now wait a second, I'm not saying that's not a good feature. I'm actually saying it's a good to have feature, because think about it. When do you lose traction? On a smaller cc bike, if normal conditions are really good and you don't feel the need for traction control anytime, when is it that you will feel the need for traction? For somebody like me who's used my R15 for touring through different weather and has gone through rain so many times, you might actually need it. So it's a good to have feature. However, you have to understand this, that not all traction control systems, in fact not all electronics, are made same. Two bikes can have ABS at a different price point, and higher price point ABS might actually be functioning much better. Same thing with the traction control system. What I suspect is this traction control system that's on the R15 for a bike at the price range of 1.7 1.8 lakh rupees Indian, it may be a basic old traction control system from 5 or 6 years ago. So I just want you to understand that you're not getting a top-notch traction control system, but that's not a bad point. I don't want to make you feel bad. I'm just saying this is what you get for the money. And as you add good systems, if people are complaining right now about the price bump, you know, R15 used to be 1.4 lakh rupees, now it's 1.8 almost. There is a reason. You want nice things, the price goes up. It's too bad that I can't personally test the R15's traction control system, because that bike is not available here, but I'm hoping to see some of you guys test. I'm hoping to see journalists that I consider as journalists to be testing it, and I'll watch their videos, actually watch their videos. Case in point, Shumi. Alright, the features didn't end there, so they have a quick shifter, so that's good. It's a basic quick shifter, so it only probably has up shifts. Also, it looks like the quick shifter is only standard on the R15M and the blue color. I don't know why color makes a difference, but they wanted to pitch the racing Yamaha's Team Racing Blue and the R15M a little higher, so maybe it'll be optional for the other colors. Even if you don't get it, I would say you could learn to upshift without the use of clutch and rev match. Maybe it's worth learning a few nice riding skills than getting more equipment. Now these are the features of the R15M. Looks like golden brake calipers, special seat, and the 3D logo emblems. Now I do not care about the emblems. I do not care about the golden brake caliper, but it surely looks good. If there is an option, buy it. The seat is what intrigued me. I'm guessing the R15M seat, the difference between the M seat and the standard seat would be the standard seat would be more comfortable. Usually you would see that upgrade is more comfortable. If Yamaha India is wanting to stick to what R15M, I mean R series M means, then they would have made a more grippier seat on the R15M. It'll also probably be a less plush. It'll be a little harder than the standard seat. That's because you want to feel everything from the track, from the tarmac on track days. Dual channel ABS, that's good. Okay, now we're looking into colors. Metallic gray is really the R15M. Racing blue, not really my favorite color. Oh, dark night looks really good. That Dark Knight version looks really good. That matte black actually looks really good. I noticed something else on the R15M. There is fork end caps, which also looks nice. And then there is also one thing which they did not really emphasize on, but I really liked it. If I had the R15 here and I had the R15M launching, I would really try to get that triple tree setup, not just the USD forks, but also the triple tree setup completely moved on to the R15 V2. If you want to do that upgrade, it'd probably be expensive. But also there's another thing that is easily missed, that is there is provision for spool holes. I don't remember if it was there on the V3, but it was definitely not there on the V2. So every time I wanted to put the V2 on a paddock stand, you had to get those paddock stands which had flat bases, and it used to be wonky. If you have the spools, you can get different pins, you can lift up the bike properly without it being wonky and without it actually trying to conform to the space of the swing arm. If I have to rate the colors, I would say this metallic red is my favorite in the 4 lineup, then the midnight black, and then the R15M. This metallic red color is actually going to look very beautiful in person. This was there in the V3, not in India, again in Indonesia, and it looks very good, very good. And I was like, why the hell don't you launch it? They have finally done it. Okay, moving along, we're going to talk about the accessories. We have a lot of crows in our background, like always be screaming when I'm making videos. One of these days I'm going to have kawa biryani. It's going to happen.
हिचकी ले रहे हैं। अच्छा, कौवे का आवाज आ रहा है भाई।
क्या खाए थे?
दरअसल हम 5 रुपए वाला चिकन बिरयानी खाए थे।
5 रुपए वाला चिकन बिरयानी? भैया वो कौवा बिरयानी।
Alright, the accessories. So brake lever and lever guard, very nice, very important. Thumbs up for that. Tank pad. It's not in a place where tank pad should be. It does not look so functional as a tank pad should be. It probably looks good, but tank pad should start a little bit lower. If not, there's no point. Third one is LED flasher. Personal preference, but I think it makes the bike look good, especially because the stock bulbs come like Christmas bells. You know, the bulbs, bells. Fourth one is the skid plate. Now that's a double thumbs up for if you tour on the motorcycle, you will know how many times you'll have rocks underneath it. It's not the engine that the skid plate is protecting, it's part of the mid pipe, but that is a very useful accessory. Fourth one is 3 thumbs ups for this one, because this is a frame slider. I don't remember on the V3, but on the V2 it was a pain in the ass. Now I have a frame slider here on the R3. You might have seen it in the videos. I made a video of the list of the mods you should go watch. Finally, they have an actual slot through which a frame slider can be put in. But on the V2, you couldn't have done that. You had to drill a hole for the frame sliders to go in, which kind of defeats the whole nice look of the bike. Or you would go without the frame slider and then lose the plastic. Sometimes it's okay. You know, the plastics of R15 V2 were sort of cheap, I would say, sort of very affordable. So it's okay to lose the plastic. Then sometimes you have to think where the frame slider is mounting. There are times when you'd rather lose the plastic than lose your frame. But if Yamaha has designed it for an official accessory, maybe they put it on the right mounting point, which will be good. So that's a good thing. Now seat cover, what I'm guessing is this is a grippier seat cover. Oh, wait a second. In that case, I have doubts now if the R15M, the special seat, is a complete seat, or is it this seat cover just added on there? Yet to see. We are yet to see that. And that's it. Call of the Blue. That's awesome. Actually, in just one line, if I had to say, R15 is back, especially after, you know, such a gap, and then there was like a half upgrade. V3 was sort of half upgrade for India, not for Indonesia, but this time they didn't hold back, which is actually really, really good. Now, for those who probably don't understand how nice of a bike an R15 is, or you probably think, you know, oh my god, sports bike should not be 150cc, or ये सिर्फ 150cc है, इसको 1.8 lakh क्यों देना है? I don't know what to say, but R15 is actually a very, very nice bike. Back when they launched the first version, it was cutting edge. It had liquid cooling. It had the frame of a proper sport bike, and you'll probably not understand how important that is unless you put the bike in true stress in a lot of corners. And with the V2, with the swing arm, the aluminium swing arm instead of the box type swing arm, it became even better. And then there was a long wait. And this time, thank you Yamaha. I would say thank you. Despite I'm not there. Now, if you already have other bikes, I have nothing much to say. But if you're getting into like performance biking, you want to try a entry-level sports bike, I would really suggest you get an R15, go ride it, try it out, and then go try the competition. Honda should have had a 150R here. It does not have it. It's in Indonesia. So a true proper sports bike, you have only maybe like 2 options in India in this CC level. And I would say R15 V4, with the V4 it comes out again on the top. Not just that, I have to add this personal point that remember my V2 is about 10 years old and if I drop in again to ride the V2, it'll be just as fun, just as reliable, as it was when it was a new bike. That's because Japanese build their bike in very, very different way. I cannot stress it enough. Probably in India we don't understand this. Some of us understand it, a lot of us don't understand. We end up looking at cheaper options or something that has given a lot of other gimmicks and maybe more power for same price or less price. You own a Japanese bike, there's so much respect even in USA for Japanese machines because they are so fault tolerant, they will go on forever, and you want that peace of mind bike with proper performance. You should try an R15. And with that, I'm going to close this video. I hope you guys if you have any questions, let me know. Hey, they also launched an Aerox, which is getting like overshadowed with the R15 launch. And even the Aerox, the 150cc scooter at a price point of that is the price point of my V2, the 1.3 lakh price range. I have not ridden this specific Aerox launch, but as the predecessors that I've ridden in Asia and the competition from Honda that we have, in fact, 2 up, we've gone on that bike so many days in Indonesia. If you want to know more about whether you should buy the Aerox, how it will feel to ride the Aerox or to maintain it or to just have it, let me know in comments. Then I'll go up and make a video about Aerox. If not, next video. Sayonara.